Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. I am Sam Spurs for life and welcome to the Paxton Road TV reaction show for the paint drying sponsored by Dulot game between Vitesse and Tottenham Hotspur. What could only be described as just a shower of whatever you want to put after that. It was awful from Spurs. Anyway, like, subscribe, share, comment. I know it's not easy when we're following Spurs, but please follow us because we at least regular and we do give consistent viewpoints. And I'm joined in the house by Sean H and Marlon Bashman. Welcome, gentlemen. Yeah. I would say, how did you enjoy that game? But I pretty much know how much you enjoyed that game. It was absolutely, in my opinion, it was a chance for those players that played today to at least give some sort of indication to Nuno, right, I'm worthy of playing in the Premiership lineup. The last time he played in the European game, he brought the cavalry on after X amount of minutes to win the game for us. This time, he didn't even bring them. So there was no excuse for any of these players to say, oh, well, he's going to bring on Harry Kane or Son. There was none of that because there's only youth on the bench. When I heard that there was just Day and Craig's, you know, the names on the bench was like, there's just youth players here. And I don't know about you, but there wasn't anybody that stood out. I like Day when he came on. Scarlett tried. He did try, but again, wasn't given the service. We had the midfield, again, Winks, Lo Celso, and Dele Alli combined. Just there's no legs there. The centre-backs, Sanchez and Rodon, I think I put in the group chat, they're just all over the place. They have got no positional sense. And that is why now I know why Rodon doesn't play. I watched him for 15 minutes in that second half, and he was just chasing shadows. He was chasing the player all over the place, kept leaving big holes in the back of the defense. And I can see now what his problem is. Great at making blocks, great at making challenges, but positionally, him and Sanchez together are absolutely awful. I've said my bit. Welcome, gentlemen. Sean, what is there any positives you can take from that game? Tell me about it.
Well, I think the young players that were forced to play, like Scarlett and Markande, did themselves no harm. I'm sorry, they did as best as they could. I was looking for leadership from Dele, from Winks, from Lo Celso, from Sanchez, and you know, Sanchez, for example, I thought he had a fantastic first half, incredible blocks. But in the second half, him and Rodon seemed to be, speaking well. They obviously couldn't communicate with each other because they were, as you said, they were all over the place. Lo Celso was the best of a very poor midfield three. At least he did carry the ball with some threat, but disappointing that Bergwijn has got no confidence to take a shot like he had when he had that opportunity in the second half. But we didn't stand up for Scarlett when his shirt was pulled, and we should have had a penalty. But apart from that, apart from 10 minutes after the second half, when obviously Nuno had got into them, which is the only time we played for a bit. But after that, the Vitesse deserved their win, and it was shocking. There are players who are shocking. There are players parked at the exit door now. Winks, Dele. I'm starting to lose faith in Lo Celso, which is terrible because I really like Lo Celso. Bergwijn, maybe he's just coming back from injury and he's still not there. But oh God, Winks and Dele, I never want to see them near the team again.
Unfortunately, Sean, we will see them near the team again at least until January, before there's any opportunity of getting rid of these players. I agree. I'm going to come to you, Marlon, in a minute. Let me just have a bit more of a rant. We played a team, and someone put in another group chat I was watching and looking at. We played like a team that sounds like a posh packet of biscuits in a hotel, and that's what it was. Their name sounds like Vitesse or Vitesse, whatever you want to call them. They're awful. They weren't very good. But to make our team, the 11 that played today, I was happy with the starting 11. I'm not going to lie. I thought, leaving those other 11 behind that played at the weekend, great. That's planning for the big game on the weekend against West Ham. West Ham have also got a game tonight. They kick off at 8 o'clock, or just kicked off, should I say. So they're going to probably play a good number of their players, and they're playing at home. So, it's probably going to balance out in terms of, who they might play. But I looked at from the goalkeeper. He didn't have much to do, but when he had to make that save, he didn't. Let's welcome Sid into the stream as well. I didn't expect to see anybody else, but I didn't want to cover myself. But welcome, Sid. Let me come to Marlon before I come to you, Sid. I'm going to be in rant mode, and I don't want to get into rant mode. There's no need for it. Marlon, what did you think today?
I think Sean stole my thunder. I had a list of complaints, but I agree with everything you just said. I'm disappointed a lot of the players, and they just seem like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if these are footballers, if they play every day, because their control, their movement.
Facts.
I just think it was a bit of a shambles. I was disappointed in definitely Weeks. And in fact, Weeks weren't too bad. I was disappointed in Lo Celso and Ali.
Oh, wow.
Ali, Lo Celso, and Bergwijn, I'm disappointed in because I expect more. With Weeks, I know what to expect. But with those three, I expect much better than I got today. And they're experienced players, man. All right, Bergwijn, I might give a bit of a blight because he's just come back from an injury. But Lo Celso, apparently you done well in the qualifiers the other day for South America. What happened today? This guy, I swear, no, I'm tired of these players. And even who else was there? Who was right back again? Tanganga. I swear,
no,
he's just a defender.
Marlon,
His touch on going forward is terrible. I've had enough. I've watched him so many times. We've got a starting 11, but the backup is very questionable. That's what I got to say.
And I think as well as that, okay. Let me look at the team. Galini in goal, and maybe it's probably even better. I'll put it up in a minute. But Galini in goal again. He's a backup keeper. Loris is going to be obviously number one. Tanganga obviously started the season quite well, but again, his attacking intent is not there. I don't remember, or it might have been once, I saw him in the opposition box for a fullback that's supposed to be, we want to play progressive football. We want to get against a team like we played today. I expect our fullbacks to be high and wide and at least getting into the box on the end of anything, or at least attempting to make crosses. I saw Ben Davies get into the box twice, and that was 80 minutes plus. You look at the centre-backs, Joe Rodon and Sanchez together it's a car crash waiting to happen. But it's not all their fault because the midfield didn't protect them. Whereas you've got Højbjerg and Skips who are very protective, Winks and Lo Celso, non-existent.
But they're not creating though, neither. They weren't creating.
They're not creating and they're not defending. So I don't understand what they're doing. So if you're a midfielder, two holding midfielders, because it kind of was a 4-2-3-1, sometimes a 4-1-2-3. But in essence, Winks and Lo Celso were played a little bit deeper. Lo Celso had an awful game, I think. I think he was awful. Winks just looked like he was hiding. And what I mean by hiding, he's not doing anything to grab this game by the scruff of the neck. He's just doing little bits. And then when he has to defend, he's nowhere to be seen. I saw the goal came from, if you watch the goal again, I know Hill was close to the guy, but Winks is in the box. I don't want to single him out, but he's not proving himself to be someone that we can replace Højbjerg or Skip with. Yeah, you're right. There's a big drop off. Sid, what's your thoughts?
Listen, I had the pleasure of watching it with a commentary from my wife. I switched off the commentary on the TV, and honest to God, some of the things she was saying, spot on. I'll give you a couple of examples. One of them was, who's that number 18? He looks like he's ballet dancing. He should be a ballet dancer, right? And the second one was, she said, if I was a professional footballer and I was playing tonight, I would go to the manager at the end of the game and say, sack me. This is disgraceful. I should not be a professional footballer. Honestly, she was on form, and I was forcing, and I was like, please come on air because you are on point tonight. And she was like, no, I'm not coming on point. But everything she said about tonight's game, honestly, she was ripping it. She was giving it to Delhi, Lo Celso, every one of them. She was giving it large, and she was 100% spot on. It was abysmal. And you know what you just said, Marlon, about the right back? I think they were all left back in the changing rooms today, mate. It was horrendous, you know. And the worst thing is, if we don't top that group, we go into a playoffs. Yeah.
Are you serious? Playoff?
Yes.
A 2-match playoff against a fallout from the Europa League.
From the Europa League, that's right. So
two extra games. We have to win that group.
We have to win that group. Yes, and if we
crazy.
can't even do this, right? It's you know what? We might as well not bother. Might as well not bother turning up because, like you said, I think what Marlon was saying. Some of them players, okay, Delhi completely disappointed. Lo Celso, see, this is what I keep telling you about you guys. You see him play once, 5-10 minutes, and everyone's like, yeah, he's the main man. He's another Messi, isn't it? Where Messi does it for Barca, he can't do it for Argentina. This guy does it for Argentina, can't do it for us. Can't do it for Spurs, right? Delhi, I think, 100% now. Even Bergwijn wasn't on point today. I mean, all their first touches were horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
I was going to say that some of the touches for professional footballers is shocking, and there's no pressure on these players. There was no pressure at times, and some of the passing was absolutely horrendous. Again, not wanting to single out, but I looked at Delhi sometimes. He was doing a couple of jogs, not really big sprints, but a couple of jogs, making him look like he was busy. But they passed around him. They just passed around him, and then they were gone. And then it's like, oh well. There was no urgency. Like I said, I can give Bergwijn a little bit of a little bit of leeway because he's just coming back from injury. He didn't really have much else. It wasn't like they were getting a lot of service out to the wings of him. But then even the things that they were doing, some of the final passes,
bad.
Were bad. Sean, was there any? I was going to say, I'm just going to come to you and I'll come back to you in a minute. Sid. Is there any positives you can take from today, apart from the fact it's finished? That's the only positive I can take. The game's over. I don't have to watch it again. That's my only positive for today. Anything else?
Well, given that my favourite Italian team is Roma, God forbid, at least we're not Roma tonight.
Oh, what happened?
Who were beaten 6-1 in Norway.
Okay.
What?
They were beaten 6-1 in Norway. But the only positive I can say is that Scarlett and Markande got some experience. We got to see, why Rodon is maybe not being picked at the moment. I still think there's a player in there. I think there's a player in Bergwijn. I'm sorry, Sid. I think Lo Celso was better than Delhi today. He was the only one who carried the ball forward with any purpose. The trouble is, there was no one made themselves available for a pass. I mean, we were swamped in midfield. I mean, once they named 5 in midfield, we needed to switch it up, and we needed to pass quicker. And there was that incident. Me and you, Sid, had a back and forth on that about Delhi, and he took 3 touches when we had 2 players over not just Lo Celso, there was a player beyond him. And if he just put his toe through it and got it out to the foot, we would have had a chance. But no, I'm sorry, Delhi. He's done for me. Along with Winks, I'm having doubts about Lo Celso. Bergwijn, I'm giving a pass, but only the young players really I would protect them. Even including Tanganga. At least he got stuck in on occasion. Sure. He didn't hold back from the tackles. The referee was poor tonight.
Oh, he was
very,
awful.
very
The
poor.
referee was awful.
I mean, he lost control, and I still feel we had a penalty when Scarlett had his shirt tugged, and then he was kicked.
Sure.
And what was worse, players like Delhi, Davis should have been round the referee saying, "Ref, that's a penalty." We haven't got VAR, so it takes pressure off players, and none of the senior players stood up. We should have had a penalty, and that was in that 10 minutes, as I say, after half time when we were in the tendency when Hill hit the bar, and who knows, it would a goal ahead, it would have changed the whole perspective of the game, but we didn't deserve that on the balance of the play.
There was no deserving of anything for us today. I'm just going to get some of these stats up. I don't really want to, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let me just sort this out here because it's like
I was watching Spurs, some old footage of Spurs from when we had Ericsson. And Ali misses him the most.
Yeah,
because he used to find Ali all the time because Ali was making those darting runs. No one can do it now. Maybe that's what's missing out his game. But it should be an all-round footballer, not just a player that does that, though. To be fair.
No, it was his speciality. To be fair.
Let's take a look at these stats.
Is this real?
Let's look at these stats. So 47% to 53. We had 53% possession. They had 15 shots to our 6. We only had 1 on target. They had 4. Corners 5-2, fouls 14-20. So the foul, I don't know what was going on with the ref today. Fouls were happening all the time, but sometimes he'd give them free kicks. He wouldn't give us. And there was some blatant, like I said, the Dane Scarlett one. I don't understand. There's no VR, so you can't go back and check that. But that's a
penalty on Hackney Marshes.
Do you know what I mean? But saying that, so was the one I think that what's his name? Gill did on their player. Yeah. I think that was a penalty as well. So to be fair, it maybe balanced itself up. But looking at some of them stats, Sid, 47% to 53. You'd think, all right, we're away from home. That's decent. But then if you go down the rest of it, 15 shots to our 6. I don't even remember what 6 shots we had. I don't know. I can't remember saying, "Oh, keepers, he's made a good one there." Oh, I don't remember any of that. There was none of that. So we had 1 shot on target. What seems to be the problem for motivation for some of these players? I know it's the Conference League. I know we're not playing Champions League football, but at least pretend it's Champions League football or something. What can we do to get some of these players to at least up their game?
I tell you what we need to do, yeah. And I'll keep getting texts on my phone now from she's downstairs watching it on telly, yeah. She keeps texting me. She said, "Tell them 53%. Are you bloody joking? It felt like 3% possession." Right? And she's also said, "Tell them where was our attacking and where was our defending? We lost every tackle going forward and defensively wise." But going back to your question, mate, I don't know. Honestly, if you can't motivate these players, professional footballers, and what you're saying is 100% Sam, doesn't matter if it's the Conference Cup or the LDV Van Cup or whatever, you're professional footballers playing for Tottenham Hotspur. Putting on that shirt, if that doesn't motivate you on a Thursday and seeing them travelling fans travel to watch you play, then there's a problem. And I hope Daniel Levy, Paratici and all them lot have watched today and we all know it's about time they realised, smelt the salt and said, you know what, some of these players do not want to play or can't be bothered playing. They're just picking up wages, because if you can't motivate them tonight, then you've got no chance. And I'm including the Alis, the Lo Celsos, I'm including Davis, I'm including all of them. I mean, going back to something I was going to say before, 88th minute, we had that attack. Did you see that pass by Ben Davies to Bergwijn? He blasted it at him. God. Absolutely blasted it. And I'm like, this is a simple,
again, I'm going to give Ben Davies the pass because he's just not very good. He's an average player. So he's not going to make them worldies anyway. So I'm putting him on the back burner. I just hope we don't have any problems with Reguilon going forward, because Ben Davies to come in is not the player for us. But saying that, I hope that Højbjerg or Skip don't get injured, because I cannot understand how Winks even how dare he play a football match like that and represent our club. And it's not the first time, it's not the second time, and it's probably into double figures now where he's been given an opportunity against lower league opposition. I'm talking about this team we played tonight, like someone's put in another group chat, they're Barnet FC. They're probably equivalent to someone. They're rubbish. Marlon, what would you do as a manager? Who would you ship out, or who would you want to ship out? Or what could you do for the next? Because there's obviously going to be more European games like this. What would you do? Would you just play the big guns, or you just now don't care about the competition? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I wouldn't play the big guns. I don't think it's worth the risk. And because it's a cup, it's a tricky one. Because if you play the big guns today, you got a game on Sunday against West Ham, who I just saw are really resting players as well. They're going to be tired. I'll just leave it for the youngsters, to be fair. Just take a risk with them. In fact, we've got a second team. The second team played today. Give them another try. Let's see what they do next game at home. They'll have to win them. Let's hope for the best, and hopefully they'll do a lot better, because, you just point out this team is very questionable at the moment.
Questionable? There's a lot of questions to be asked.
That middle
There's a whole load of questions to be asked. And Sean,
I didn't think Weeks actually played that bad.
Oh God!
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he played that bad, because he weren't special.
I'm going to breathe again. When we say Winks doesn't play bad, do you know what? I don't know if we're comparing him to Winks versus Winks, or you're comparing him to another good player, because he is rubbish. And when I say rubbish, I mean rubbish. For a midfielder as we talked about earlier, what's his job is to create attacks, but also to be there to defend, break up play. What did he? Do you remember him making any of that? Did you see him make a last ditch tackle? Did you see him put his foot in? Did you see him create anything? I saw him pass sideways most of the time. Little easy 5-yard passes. I never saw him play any 50, 60, 70-yard balls spread. So what is he? What does he bring? He doesn't bring a lot. And when you combine that with Dele and Lo Celso in that midfield as well, there's no chance. He could get carried by someone like Højbjerg and Skip, and he was in the team. He'd get carried. But when he's supposed to be the main man, you can see all his frailties come out. And as a midfield, you've got to be more dynamic than that.
I think the issue was the attack. There was no attacking threat at all.
Nothing.
I thought the defense done what they can, but if you can't create chances against a team like this, not being disrespectful, that's worrying.
So that's the point.
You've got creative players there.
There's my point. So Winks, Lo Celso, Dele Alli created all today. Sean, what would you do to at least get these players to think about? Because they've got no opportunity of playing Sunday. None of these players that play tonight, I want to see them anywhere close to playing. There'll be a few on the bench, obviously, but there's not any of these starts tonight that's going to make that starting 11. Is there any hope for some of these players?
I was listening to Glenn Hoddle briefly after the game, and he said that really, when you're a footballer, the motivation comes first of all from within yourself. So why isn't Winks playing for the team that he's supported since he was a boy not got that motivation? There's something not right with the boy. I mean, I watched him for the first half, and I thought at some stages he did try some, passes through the lines, and they were reasonably successful, but they were few and far between. And in the second half, he was dreadful, and he deservedly got a yellow card. He should have had a yellow card before he even walked on the pitch, to be honest. But I don't know how you're going to motivate a player like that. But it is. Hoddle was right. Hoddle is the greatest footballer I've ever seen in our shirt, and he knows if you're not motivated to play for the club, then there's nothing a coach can do. If you don't have it inside you, and for some, Winks, Dele, Sanchez, I don't think they have it in them. I don't think they have it in them, and I think there's got to be a parting of the ways. Unfortunately, I'd rather have lots of our academy players coming and playing in our first team. It's not going to happen. Parakiti has got a job and a half to do in January and next summer, because I would say the pruning of the Pochettino team needs to go ahead. It needs, with the exception maybe of John and Kane, who would you keep from the Pochettino era?
That whole process has begun. Obviously, we know that process has begun and it's happening. But I just come back to the point. If we're playing a team like Roma in this competition, which Roma are in this competition, by the way, if you're playing a team like that managed by Jose, we've got some really good players who are, decent, a very decent team, but are in the competition like us. We're a very decent team if you look back at history, whatever. But they're in a competition where they don't want to be in. That's the sort of game I would expect these players to be like, all right, yeah, I'm going to be up for it. But this is a game where you should be motivated to get into the first 11. So again, I look at Scarlett. Why not just play the youngsters now? Makinde, when he come on, I know that Sid's been calling for him for a long time, and I was actually impressed with his effort. He's done a couple of little bits and pieces. He's got a little bit of pace. He's a bit small. Didn't realize he was that small, but I'll give him that. But he looked like he was, He looked all right. So again, he is a player that needs a bit more chance. But when you're playing with no creativity in your team, it's going to be really difficult for you as a forward to show your qualities, to show your capability. So all you can do is work really hard. And then we're going to say, oh, we worked really hard, but he didn't get any opportunity. So when are we going to actually see these players have the ability to perform at a higher level? Yes, at the under 23 level, Dane Scarlett, Makinde, Dylan Makinde can do bits. When they come to playing in this team with the players that played tonight, it's more difficult. They have to play with the likes of Højbjerg, with the likes of Winks, with Lucas, with Sons around them. But then they're not going to get in the team, are they? So it's a real tough one for me. I'm brief again. I was going to go through some of these comments here, and then we'll have a lot of laughter. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of laughter. People here.
What's that guy's name? Makinde. Is he a twin?
No.
No,
There's two of them though, isn't there?
No, he's one.
No,
Makande's only no, he's one.
there's the Craig twins. Matthew Craig and Michael Craig, they're twins, identical twins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
Makande's no.
Good player.
Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. I'm going to come around to you for your final thoughts because I think we're about done. What I want to ask, Sean, what are you drinking? Because I need some of that as well. Because, by the way, I'd like some of that. I'm going to have to find
some Irish whiskey, the best.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Let's come to you first, then, Sean. Final thoughts on the performance and looking forward. I guess we have to look forward now to the game on Sunday against the Hammers.
A night to forget and just wipe from our memory banks and just look forward to Sunday and beating the Hammers in their cup final. Yeah,
I need one of them pens that they had in Men in Black when you just do that on your head and then everything's gone. Erase that whole 90 minutes from my memory because I need that. I do need that's it's hurtful when you know what I mean. Kick off 5:45. I'd finished all work. I was like, yeah, I've done that. I come in to watch the game. I sit down and they're like, oh god, this is not going to be right, is it? So yeah, we have to continue. Marlon, final thoughts.
It's glad it's over, to be honest. Do you know what? It went. It's good to see these players like be given an opportunity and fail. So when people start crying out, even me sometimes, you can say themselves. So you see what they're really about. So if you can't get yourself up for a game like this where you've been given an opportunity and you don't take it, you can't be crying when you're not in a team because not one of these players I could see coming into that starting team at the moment. They're not good enough.
Not one.
Not one today. No, none of them. I don't think they're good enough. Not even Sanchez, even though sometimes Sanchez, I think, yeah, he could do it. But no, not at all. You lot are squad players.
I can't. Before I come to watch next time, if these two play together, Rodon and Sanchez, just watch them. Watch them for about 5 minutes. You'll know exactly why they're not in the team. And I was thinking to myself,
it started dreadfully for Rodon.
Oh,
Rodon in the first minute gave away the ball in his own box.
His first kick of the ball.
Oh man!
I gave the ball back to them. And that was it. I came in late, and I saw the highlights, and the Hodder was like, "Did you see what he done in the first minute?" I was like, "What?" Do you know one player I want to see play though, but he's been injured a lot? It's Sessignon. I just want to see what he's about because he's another one. Questions are out on him as well.
The news tonight is not good. According to Ali Gold, his injury is much worse than we thought, or that Nuno thought.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see. That has been one of the three we got in the same transfer window. Tanguy, Lo Celso, and Ryan Sessegnon all have had their injuries or fitness concerns. That was probably the worst window we've ever had. And we spent the most money.
By Poch, that's true. Yeah.
No, I think with Ryan Sessegnon, I don't think the personality is there to be a top border at a big club. I think he could be a good player somewhere lower down the leagues. In the Premier League, I think he's a Premier League player, but I don't think he's a top level player because I've seen his personality. He seems to, he's like the left-sided version of Doherty. He looks great when he was at Wolves, looked great when he was at Fulham, comes to Spurs, the pressure seems to ramp up and it's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can deal with this. And that's my personal opinion. He may come really good, but I don't see it. I've not seen anything from him to tell me that he's going to be a player for us. Maybe somewhere else. He's young enough to do that. He's only 21. Sid, final thoughts on the game?
Final thoughts. Well, we now know, we've always known that some of these players are just not good enough, don't want to play for the badge, or they just getting their money week in, week out. And I think it may be because they know they're not going to get into this first team. So they're like, you know what, if they're going to play me in this Conference League, then I'm just going to give a shit performance, knowing that I can get in every other week because they're going to keep resting the big boys. So yeah, we'll just turn up. But final thought is, and I know I'm plugging here now, Sam, yeah, but Ask Sid tomorrow is all about, do we have a squad good enough for PL and the Conference League?
This has
tonight sort of started it, yeah? So please, everyone, tomorrow, get on, because it's going to be a debate and a half tomorrow, mate. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. But
I was in a WhatsApp group. Sorry for cutting you. I was in a WhatsApp group and someone said Nuno's treating Ali like how Mourinho treats him. I was like, what? He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough no more. I used to, don't get me wrong, I used to love Ali Aswin, yeah, excellent player. But when you sit down and watch him, it's like, does this? You need to add something else to your game. It's not working.
Watch Ali. If you want to watch, I'm not going to watch that game again, but I've seen enough. But if you watch Ali again, he was looking like he was trying to be busy. He was half attempting to press players, half attempting to get there quickly. But as soon as he didn't, and they bypassed him, that was it. He was done. He bypassed, and I kept on.
They need a fresh challenge.
His recovery runs. Oh dear me!
I'm not going to lie to you, Sam. In the second half, I actually said to my wife, "Is Ali playing or has he been substituted?" And she said, "No, he's over there running." And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's actually still on the field." So as much as I always back Dele Alli, right? I think there's only so much I can do now, and it's getting thin and thinner and thinner, mate. I'm telling you, I'm running out of. I can't defend someone. We can't defend it. Spurs can't defend, and I can't defend Dele Alli now. I'm sorry, but it's getting to that point.
There you go. There is a God somewhere. There is a mate, because I never thought I'd see that day. I never thought I'd see that day or hear them words come out of his mouth. Woo!
Yeah.
But
again, I think they need a fresh challenge. Him and Weeks.
I think they do. Newcastle, please come and take him and Winks. I
think. So someone else is here. Big Paper said Dele to Newcastle will be good for everyone. Every single person at Spurs as a fan, that would be good, because I think he could actually, if he's going to resurrect his career, that's probably a very good opportunity. They haven't got a midfield. We saw that on Sunday. Their midfield was crap. Right. So if he can't get into that team and play well, then he really is nowhere to be seen as a footballer.
And I think they've got that guy from Barcelona coming. What's his name? Dembele. Because he's out of contract.
Is that what they want to get him, don't they? Oh God, if I was Dembele, I'd think twice.
But Liverpool are after Dembele as well, aren't they? So.
Yeah, I think Newcastle are going for it, but they're going to offer some silly wages, aren't they? So.
Of course, absolutely.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Right. Gentlemen, do you know what? I think we've done 32 minutes for a game.
Historically, have always got good wages because they had to.
Yeah, they're going to pay some decent money now. They've got the money to spend. Yeah. So let's see what happens. Sean, Marlon, Sid, I've had enough. I'm going to join Sean, and I'm going to get myself out a nice drink. I don't know what I'm going to get yet, but I'm going to have a nice drink and trying to raise this from my memory. Look, anybody? Oh, look, Marlon's got Bailey's on.
Marlon's pulling it out.
Bailey's on me. That's a special drink. That's like a Christmas. He's got water. That might be vodka, though. That could be vodka. You never know. That's what the alcoholics did, didn't they?
It's water.
It's only water.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
I know it's only water. I'm only messing with you. I know you don't drink.
That comment's funny. Rollerblade.
Oh, let me put it up again then. Dear me. You should take up rollerblading or something. Good grief.
Yeah, you need effort for rollerblading.
The final comment is simply Ace. We would struggle to sell Winks for £1.75. It's hard work. It's hard work. It's really hard work. Anyway, gentlemen, hold that bottle, Sean. Hold that bottle, because that's the best thing of tonight. Holding that bottle. We have to go. All right, then, Marlon, Sean, Sid, thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Let's see if we can
come on, you Spurs.
The weekend against the Hammers. Come on, you Spurs.